Ya
Ya,
podemos, ya podemos
contrató una
arrancar.
abogada y todo eso. Está,
Podemos empezar, Tania, creo.
Buenas noches, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Muchísimas gracias a todos ustedes por su puntualidad, por el interés en esta nueva entrega de la serie de webinars Spa Inspira que hemos traído con ustedes junto a Zamorano. El día de hoy vamos a tener un tema de mucho interés justamente para el sector agroindustrial. Les agradecemos a todos, como les mencionaba, por su interés y por su puntualidad. También les invitamos un poco a que quizás puedan renombrarse en la cuenta, en la invitación Zoom que ahorita están accediendo. Hay algunas personas que todavía no tienen puesto su nombre. Sería bueno para que todos podamos conocernos. Ya hacia el final del webinar, pues vamos a tener un espacio también para compartir junto a nuestro invitado del día de hoy, para poder solventar también todas sus inquietudes y comentarios que quieran hacernos acerca de este tema que traemos el día de hoy sobre estrategias efectivas para ingresar al mercado asiático. Antes de iniciar este webinar, pues queremos también presentarnos para quienes quizás son nuevos estos espacios. SPAE es la primera escuela de negocios del Ecuador, acreditada internacionalmente por la ICCSB, que es una de las más importantes organismos acreditadores a nivel internacional, que solo el 5% de las escuelas de negocios a nivel mundial lo tienen,
¿Qué pasa?
posicionándonos como una escuela regional referente de calidad internacional. También, por otro lado, pues como les comentaba, esta serie viene gracias también a la alianza que tenemos con la Universidad Zamorano, quien tiene más de 80 años de experiencia formando profesionales de élite a nivel regional. Se ha consolidado sin duda como un referente en el sector agroindustrial y ambiental. Su metodología distintiva de aprender haciendo realmente no es solo un eslogan, es el corazón de su formación, y por eso nuestras instituciones nos hemos unido para esta alianza estratégica y esta creación de esta temporada de Spa Inspira. Bienvenidos, como les decía, el tema de hoy realmente es de mucha relevancia para el entorno de los negocios actualmente, sobre todo en la región y particularmente en el Ecuador, que es un país agroindustrial, donde muchos profesionales pues tenemos que estar siempre con las herramientas, con los conocimientos, las tendencias más actualizadas para poder enfrentar estos desafíos que tiene la agroindustria. El día de hoy contamos con un invitado muy especial, es un invitado internacional, el profesor David Say, a través de su empresa Yellow Horse International, nos va a ofrecer a modo de una hoja de ruta, ¿no? ¿Cuál es esa hoja de ruta para los líderes agroindustriales, donde nos pueden ayudar a ver ese inmenso potencial que tiene el mercado asiático, ¿no? Y cómo capitalizar esa reciente demanda de productos naturales y saludables, en los cuales nuestro país pues se ha ido también un poco perfeccionando, ¿no? Y queremos cada vez más entrar con esa oferta exportable adecuada al mercado asiático. Así que hoy nos va a traer justamente esas estrategias para superar estos desafíos, no solamente regulatorios, sino también culturales que tiene el mercado asiático, para que cada una de esas empresas, pues obviamente pueda tener una entrada mucho más exitosa y sostenible, ¿no? Manteniendo esta dinámica global. Quiero también aprovechar en presentar, antes de iniciar con la intervención de nuestro speaker, nos acompaña el día de hoy también la doctora Adriana Maya. Ella es profesora de España y es directora del programa de dirección, el programa internacional de dirección de la industria, junto con Zamorano. Ella nos acompaña el día de hoy, también nos va a estar acompañando hacia el final, quizás un poco compartiendo las reflexiones y los aprendizajes que vamos a tener con David y contándonos también acerca de este programa internacional que tenemos para ustedes. Sin más, yo quiero darle la bienvenida
¡Ay, es
a
una vara! Es una vara
les pido
nueva.
igual a todos los participantes, como estamos en modo reunión, que podamos igual mantener nuestros micrófonos silenciados. Como les digo, ya hacia el final de la presentación, pues vamos a tener un espacio para interactuar. Esto igual nos permitirá que podamos ser efectivos en el corto tiempo que tenemos para la presentación del tema de hoy. Quiero nada más presentar rápidamente a David, agradecerte nuevamente a David por tu tiempo, por compartir con nosotros, con Spy, con Zamorano, este espacio de aprendizaje. Contarles también a todos ustedes que David tiene mucha experiencia a nivel internacional, tiene esta doble visión estratégica, ¿no? David es presidente de la empresa Yellow Horse International, es una empresa que se especializa en la importación y exportación de productos agrícolas con foco en materias primas de América Latina hacia el mercado de Asia-Pacífico. Entonces, esta experiencia realmente va a ser muy valiosa para el tema que nos trae hoy, teniendo esta comprensión profunda de ambos lados del mercado, no tanto del mercado asiático como de la cadena que nosotros tenemos acá en Latinoamérica. Adicionalmente, David cuenta con un profundo conocimiento también en el mercado asiático desde el rol como cofundador de True Things Foods, que es una empresa establecida en Taiwán, empresa de manufactura de salsas derivadas de nueces y oleaginosas. Realmente también tiene aquí experiencia en la producción de alimentos y el desarrollo de nuevos productos para estas grandes fábricas y marcas de retail en el mercado asiático. Con esta presentación, para que ustedes conozcan el background de David, todo lo que van a poder también conocer y aprovechar de él el día de hoy, quiero dejarlos con él, así que muchas gracias, David, y a ustedes bienvenidos también.
Gracias, gracias la profesora Denise acá y gracias la profesora Amaya. And please allow me to use English, and we can discuss with after the my presentation. We can use the Spanish for discuss. So I want to just introduce myself. My name is Yashin. You can call me David, and I'm an honor to share with you guys some practical strategy for the succeed to entering the Asian marketing. So this is based on my past a decade experiments with our working, and we have some experiment to share with you guys. So we work with the Asia, and also we with the United States, American, especially South American. We import and export the focus on agricultural products, and we just working with the 40 the producers in 9 countries in Asia. So why Asia? Um, because Asia right now, we have the 60% the populations in the world. So that means we have a lot of marketing is on development because we are the in Asia in in the past we are the exporter. We export a lot of the different material to the world. But in the future, I think the middle classes is increased in Asia. So we are just demands a lot of agriculture's products, especially like nature's one and the very good quality one. We need a lot. So that's give the um, Latin American have more opportunities to export more products from a local. So if we're talking about Asia marketing, so I want to mention that Asia is not only the China, Japan, Korea, or Taiwan. So we also content with a lot of the country. Maybe you don't visit, you last hear about their country name like the Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia, Laos, Cambodia, and these countries right now is increased a lot of the populations, and the economic is very booming right now. So if you want to do the business with these countries, you need to know that every country they have a different cultures, different regulations, even the language is different. So that's very difficult to understand that at the beginning. So we want to share is like each country is also have a different the tariff. If you notice that yesterday and today, the United States, the President Trump, they just mentioned that a lot of country they have the tariff. They want to sell their product to United States. They charge more than 25%. Just like the 2 hours ago, Donald Trump just mentioned the Brazil, if they want to sell the product to United States, they need to pay the 50% more the tariff to the United States. That means your product need to have more than 50% profit. I don't think that a lot of the agricultural product they have that margin can pay that tariff. So it means the producer exporters need to find a different marketing to sell their product. I think that that's a very good opportunity for both of us, Latin America and Asia. We can try to figure out a more opportunity to bring the product from Latin America to Asia. So our experiments in Aerohost International, we are based in Taiwan, and if you find a map, the Taiwan is the central of the Asia. So it's very good, the logically and the position to distribute to China, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, and the Southeast Asia. And we do more is with the agricultural products like the cacao, sesame we call also the ajonjolí, and also the flores, and we do a lot of the granos is the grains, and some of the nuts, the tree nuts. And also we help with the providers, especially the small farmers in Latin American. They want to sell their products. They have very good products. We help them to shipping or sell to Asia. So we took the strategy one. The strategy one is for our idea is the product adaptations, in the certification. That means you need to understand that not the product you produce in the Latin American, they can sell directly to Asia. You need to do some difference, like you need to change it's not only the outside, you need to change it all, sometimes the formula, you need to change it with the package, you need to understand the regulations, you need to get a certification. The certifications is not only like the organic or some the rainforest. It's not only like that. Each country they have a different regulations. They sometimes they provide they need you need to do the local the certification for the products. So that's very important. You need to understand the marketing demands. Is sometimes we have a lot of the vendors they want to sell their product to Asia, but they really don't know what's the marketing demands. For example, in Asia we use the kilo, we not use the pounds. So if you want to sell your product to Asia, you need to change your the unit by the weight. So that's gives a lot of the countries that easier to enter in the marketing to sell. And also we mentioned that the documents sometimes is very hard because it's not about the language, it's not about the translations. It's you need to understand the different country, they have the different regulations for the papers. Sometimes the papers you need to present at the first time because the first beginning, a lot of people just asking about your documentary. You need to provide them to first to verify. If you don't prepare well, sometimes you cannot go to the step two. So about the strategy two, the culture and the trust. I think that's the very big the gap between the Asian and the Latin American because in Asia, our decision is very conservative. It's very based on the long-term relationship. That means not only I know you for a long time, it means I need to know your company, your personal for a long time, and I need to understand your background. We need to know your sales records. We need to know your customer in Asia. Is sometimes these things is very difficult because we have a lot of vendors. They afraid the customer in Asia because they don't know the customer in Asia. What's the background? These more buyers or big buyers. Sometimes they don't understand that, and also uh, based on the trust, we don't have the common the friends or common the middle persons. We cannot just a guarantee or each other. So that means that communications is for the very difficult. So we need to build that at the beginning. It's not only beginning the sale. Sometimes we can provide information before sales. That's very important. And also, we're talking about the transparency, the pricing. The price is not only the cheap one. We need to provide with that very good products with a solid prices. For example, right now, for the some marketing they have with um, international price, like the coffee, like the cacao, they have international price. And if you can compare with the international price, that will give you the ticket to enter in the marketing. But also sometimes the customer, they looking for the marketing below. So you need to consider about how can we provide that, or we can provide a uh, extra the service, something with that, so the customer can pay you extra the money for the service. For the strategy three, the channel selection. The channel is very important because you need to understand your buyers in Asia. They doing with the online business, or they doing with the supermarket chain, or they sell to the B2P. The B2B is means they sell to the like the factories, they sell to the some the food store, they not sell directly to the customer. So that's give you idea to understand your product is suitable for the your customer, or you need to change your product. For example, that we find that some of the small vendors in Latin America, they have very good quality with the products, but they are not suitable for the Asian supermarket, because the Asian supermarket sometimes they're looking for is a big quantity. The big quantity sometimes is not easy for the small vendors in the Latin America. So we sometimes we need to find a small but unique the buyers in Asia, like the small like the artisan, the batteries, the small the batteries, they sometimes they have very good service, very good product in Asia. They have very good relationship with the marketing, and they need the spatial, the premium, the quality with the product. So that's give the vendors very good idea to sell their product at the beginning. And also, I think the trade show is very important. Sometimes a lot of people they just ignores with the attend the trade shows. The trade shows like in Asia is a very good opportunity to sell your product or introduce yourself to the marketing, to the to know more person, more buyer, potential buyer in Asia. So that's a very good opportunity to know each others. You can have the um, connections, you can have the more local experiments to understand the local marketing in Asia. I think that that's very good um, invest the time and the money to attending the trade show in Asia. And the strategy for the partner selection. The partner selection is very important because you need to find the good one for yourself. I, for my understanding, is not to find the biggest one, because the biggest one sometimes they have the two vendors in his systems. Maybe is a better idea is to find the sizes or the situations as the same as your vendors. For example, that if you are small associations in Latin American, you maybe your product is like a 10 container or 20 container per year. So you can find maybe it's not the biggest supermarket chain, because the supermarket chain they ask is the 10 containers per week. So it's not the same sizes you can provide. So if you can find a small local factories, they demands like the 5 or 6 container per year. I think that that's very good opportunity for both of us to do the big business at beginning. And you can just give them the different qualities or different ideas for your product, and they have And the buyers they have the different producers compared to their competitors in the local. I think that will give you idea to select a very good partners. And also the partners is very important at the beginning, because if they put your product in the wrong the market trends, that will give the wrong idea for your product in Asia. That will very hard if you want to change that the idea image in the customer. That's very hard to change in the future. So to find the right partners, I think that's very important. That's very based on your communication with your potential buyers in Asia. And also you need to maintain your customer. It's not only the one-time sale. A lot of the vendors, they just looking for, okay, I give you the one container to container, that's it. They don't want to maintain the relationship in the next year or next 10 years. So sometimes they need to understand each other's, need to do the customer service after sale. For example, you need to ask your buyer in Asia, how about our product sale? How about your produce? How we can do better, or we can change the different designer, or we can change a different package in the future. I think that will give you more um, opportunity to do the next time business. A lot of vendor in Latin America, they just ignores this part. And the stratify branding and the marketing. Like I mentioned, that if you already have the brand in Latin American, I think they need to understand that your brand is maybe very famous in the Latin American, but is no one knows in Asia. So that's give you a very at beginning. You need to understand that how to sell at the beginning, or what's your target. You want to sell is a premium marketing or the price sensitive marketing. That's give you the different idea, and you need to discuss with your partner, your buyers, how to put your product in the different market. And also you go through the trade fair. Like I mentioned, that if you find that a trade show, you can compare with local products. How give you idea you can put a different products in the different supply chain. And sometimes we have a very good opportunities if your product in Latin America maybe is for a price sensitive market, but if we change the idea, we put more effort with your storage. We put more like the introduce or more connection with the product. Sometimes we can sell premium price in Asia because the people want to know more idea, more history, or the quality is good, is better than other provider in the Asia. I think that's the different idea to give you promote your product. Also, you need to change your the language. It's not only the your printer change the language. No, you need to understand the culture. Sometimes they use a different language, different sensitive. They need to change that, and also that's the give you a different idea. Maybe your design need to change whole image, because different cultures they looking for different informations. And also the social media is very important now. We have a lot of vendors, they have their own Instagram, their Facebook. They introduce their product internationally. I think that's a very good idea, because a lot of our customer right now, they use a lot of Instagram. Sometimes they buy the product from their vendors. Also, they want to know more storage. Um, they want to know more information from the farms. They want to know more information from the farmers. If you have your own social media, that's give you more opportunity to introduce yourself. Sometimes they give you more potential customer. They write your email directly, and sometimes you can tell your buyers, hey, we already have the customer asking about our product in Asia. Can you help us to sell more, or can you help us to sell to the spatial customer target? I think that that's give you more potential opportunities. And we're talking about the typical the marketing entry the process. That's the based on the 5 steps. The 5 steps is our based on our experiments. The first is adapting the product. Like I mentioned that you need to change your ideas. It's not just use the original one to sell. You need to change maybe whole image or change only the language or image that. And second one is the marketing testing. You need to give your potential vendors or potential customers. You give them some sample or just the very few shipping on the beginning. They let them to testing the marketing. Maybe at the beginning it's very difficult, but you need the information to in the future. So that's very important because a lot of vendors in Latin American they want to do is like I sell you is the we don't accept the small quantity the order. We only sell the containers. So I think that's very good opportunity if you can accept to sell the maybe only the less than container load LTL, just 1 pallet, 2 pallets, and your potential buyers they accept that. Maybe they pay more transportation costs, but they want to your product at the beginning to sell. I think that's very important. And the third step is the partner selection. Like I mentioned that you need to select the partner is not the biggest one. You need to select the suitable, the same sizes, same position as your provider. That's give you more comfortable to grow together. And the fourth step is called a pilot shipment. If you decide you sign a contract with your buyers, the first shipment is very important because the first shipment you need to face about the transportation. You need to face about the inspection at the country. You need to prepare a lot of the documentaries and you never prepare. So that's give you more. You need to more time. You need to more involved to that, and that's also very important for your buyers. Give you more understanding because sometimes our first vendors work with us. They just don't know how to prepare the document. So we can prepare together. The buyers also provide some experience to how to import the product from different countries. Also give you more ideas. For example, you already have the customer in Japan and you can ask them, do they have the instrument sell to the Taiwan or China? And they can help you to give you some idea or right person help you to export your product to different marketing. And the fifth step is called the long-term contract. The long-term contracts you don't need to sign at the beginning, but the long-term contract is means your work together. It's like you need to build a long-term relationship. The customers sometimes they just need different products or different sizes of packaging in different stages. You need to help them to find the products to give them more trust. Sometimes you can be their representative in the local country. For example, okay, David, you are the person I trust in the Taiwan. Can you help me to find some product in Taiwan, or you can find some the other vendors in Taiwan. We can work together, but I need to work with you. I think if you can give a very good image for your customer in Asia like that, so the customer will contact with you. For example, you can be their they contact their first person in Ecuador. So if they need anything in Ecuador, they will thinking about you. So that's very important. So that's not just sell the product. You need to give them the very good trust to understand you is the right person to work together. And for our case study, and the first one that I want to introduce is our company, the Cacao de Ecuador. We since the 2016 we decide to import the cacao in Ecuador. Our strategy is like we need to find a small farmers, we need to find a small associations because the small associations sometimes they have very good quality, but they sell to the local middlemen or local exporters. Sometimes they just not give more information to customer how good the product from the small farmers. So we decided to find the small farmers, the providers in Ecuador. So we find in Guayas, they have very good small farmers. They only produce like the 1 or 2 containers per year, but they have very good quality every monthly. They have different varieties, and we try to find them to connect them to our customer in Asia. So how to do that? We face the first the problem. The primera problema is like the association, the small farmer in local, they don't know how to export. They don't have experiment to export their product to other countries. So we need to find the right person to help them to prepare the document. We need to find a person to communication with the markup because the markup sometimes they need to register some informations. They need to do some and investigations. They need to send the testing before shipping. That's costs a lot of time and involve the. We need to help the farmer to find the right person, right product, and also the buyers like us. We need to provide the regulations in local. For example, um, we do the first time import from Ecuador. We need to do the some register in Taiwan FDA. So we need to give them, so okay, we want to import cacao in Ecuador. We need to do some, they need us to provide more testing, certification of origin, certification of the fumigation. We need to provide different kind of papers. So if you do well, maybe the first step you need to 6 months to 1 year. You need to figure out how to do that. If you fix that problem, you will do sell your product to Asia. And solution, our our target in Asia is we sell to the specialty chocolate factories, specialty chocolate bar store. They need a very special cacao from the farmer directly. We sell them. We do was the very famous we call the bean to bar from the grano to the chocolates. They need to hold a transparency. We give them whole idea. Who is the farmer? Who is the association? Who is the exporter? Who is the importer? And we give them whole information to our customer in Asia. So they can provide more information, more value in their chocolate. So the customer willing to buy very good the chocolate than nasty or other local brand or local big factories chocolate. They can to buy more chocolate from its specialty and give more opportunity for small vendors in Ecuador. Small vendor, the cacao farmers, they can sell their unique product to Asia. And this picture is like we took in 2016 in October. That's the small associations in Guayas. I still remember the first time I visited them, they don't have the experience to export directly to other countries. So the association very open that the president very open that they want to do the first business. So they just contact us and contact other small farmers, work together. We discuss some they're afraid. For example, how about the payment? How about the shipping? They're afraid their product shipping to outside but without the payment. So how to avoid the problems? So we explain to them locally, face to face, and we give them idea what's the Asian marketing. So until today, they still have some of the farmers who will work together. The case two is the Paraguay. We do was the sesame ajonjolí in Paraguay. The Paraguay is a country very small in Latin America. They don't have experiment was the sesame, the sesame in past 20 years because the sesame is not the local um agricultural products. Is someone bring from the Mexico planting in the Paraguay. So this the supply chain, this business in Paraguay only that's in the 25 years. So they always looking for exporter because they don't have the local demands. They shipping out 90% the sesame. So their origin marketing is in Latin America. They sell to Argentina, they sell to Brazil, they sell to Mexico because their countries like the Mexico, they have big player. They import a lot of the raw material, grano primera, the materia primera. They import a lot of the raw material from other Latin American countries. They do the processing. They do a lot of sorting machine or packaging again to sell other country like Japan, Korea. So we figured out the Paraguay they have very good quality with the sesame, but they don't have the customer in Asia. So we contact the exporter in Paraguay directly, and the problem we face is like they don't know the regulations, the any regulation in Asia. They don't have experimented with that. So we're working with the exporter, farmers, and the government. We give them okay, right now Taiwan, we have some regulation with the heavy metal. We have some regulation with the different varieties with the sesame. We give them more idea. We call the MRL, the list of the our regulations, and they do the testing in local. They sending their the sesame to the SGS to do the testing. We try to figure out how we can just avoid some the pesticide chemical use before exporter. So we use the one at least the 1 year to figure it out. So right now we control very well and we introduce the new origin from Latin America is Paraguay. They have very good quality with the sesame ajonjolí. We introduce to Asian country. Right now we export 800 to 10,000 1,000 metric ton per year to Asia. So that's give the exporter to Paraguay. They have the other options from the 2 years ago. So that's this year I visit our vendors, our exporter in Paraguay. So they provide very good quality in Paraguay, and they put the different location, different warehouse, and we do the different treatment with the chemical, and especially for the Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Malaysia, different customer different demands. And we're talking about the risk management. So if you find a customer, the customer very interesting about your product, how you already try to the step two, you want to sell to them. So how to manage the risk? So the risk is not only about the payment, it's also about the quality or insurance or like the currency exchange. For example, Ecuador is very good the place because you don't have the currency exchange. You use the United dollars. That's give other very good potential to the customer in Asia because we can use fixed USD dollars to give the prices for your product. And sometimes the very important is the payment term. For example, a lot of the customer, the buyers, they only give you the certification for the credit, or they want to more discounts, so they do the TT. So that's very depends your strategy. You have experiments with that, you have very good relationship with the bank, or you want to sell quickly, that's you need to find the situations or strategy with the different payment term or payment issues. And also you need to manage about your contract because sometimes in our experiments, sometimes if we don't if the vendor they don't have experiment with the contract, they sometimes they give you the uh, very difficult situation if the product have the issues. For example, if your product just reject by the custom, for example, the Japan custom, they reject your container because of you have the chemical issues or the fumigation issues, they reject by the custom. Who need to pay the return cost? That you need to put it in your contract. And sometimes a lot of people just ignores or they don't have experience with that. So that's very difficult with when the sometimes the issues happen. So the contracts we always recommend you need to pay attention. You need to use more time to discuss with your customer, your buyers, your contract. And Asia and the Latin American, they have very different. So for our experiments, they have the three different very important. The first one is we call the speed. The speed is not it's not about we're talking about in Asia, we are very lento. We are very slow. We have take a long time for the decision. We need to think a lot of things. We need to want to know more informations, and we need to want to do the formal business. And sometimes our vendors in Latin America, they just want to sell directly. Okay, give me the one container order. I shipping you next week, and we already in our warehouse. You just give me contract we sell you or no problem. They always give my answer no problem. But you need to understand that why Asian need to take more time to do the decision because they want to do is a long-term relationship. Sometimes they only want to, it's not only one-time business. They want to find a reliable supplier in Latin America. So it's better than you use more time to communication, understand what's their demands. Maybe they ask you one question per week. You need to waiting for more long time. But sometimes more serious buyers, more serious customer in Asia, they use more time to communication. If you find your customer, they just need a product very fast or they just don't want to form more business. They just want to give them shipping out next week. Sometimes you need to worry about the customer is the right customer or they just want a cheap prices in the product. If your customer is the type of only sensitive for a price, that's I think that is very difficult in the future because if they find other supplier for the cheaper price, the cheaper price they change directly. They don't have the relationship. They don't want to build long-term relationship with you. That's give you very difficult because you only stay in the price sensitive marketing. And second part is the payment, the barcodes. Sometimes we figured out a lot for the Asian they want to do is like they want to pay was the upfront is like want to do is like the with the bank was the bank certifications that or they want to do is like I give you deposit they want more discount. That's different with the Latin American. Sometimes we a lot of vendors they just buy from the small farmers. They use the credit. They don't pay directly or immediately. So that's a total different. So you need to understand your customer payment tenor. You need to understand your customer how to pay you. So give you more time because right now the capital in Asia or in Latin America is very sensitive. So you need to understand that your payment, your capital is available to 2 months, 3 months for next time before they pay you. So you need to figure out what's the good your sales strategies. And third part is we call the channels. The channels also is the is give you very 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 important at the beginning because if you choose the wrong channel, they give you a wrong image in the Asian marketing. You are very difficult to sell your product in the future. For example, if your quantity is not enough for the supermarket chain, you don't need to sell to the supermarket chain at the beginning, and you don't need to do you are not feel comfortable. For example, they want 100 container per year the order, but you only can provide the 10 container per year. You don't need to promise them to find other sources origin from your country because you cannot guarantee your quality is other supplier like you. You only can control your quality only at 10%. You just do you 100% with your supplier. You only guarantee your product. You just tell her true to your customer. Okay, sorry, I cannot give you the 100% the your order. I only feel comfortable about the only 10%, and only the 10%, the 10 container is from our supplier or from directly. I can guarantee that the quality. I just want to do the 10 container the business. I very be honest with you. A lot of the buyers right now in Asia, they very appreciate if you talking to them directly with that because they want to do is long-term ration business. And if you tell them you only have the small quantity but with the good qualities, they can understand that. And sometimes they want to do you just focusing with that part because your quality is good. They can pay you with the premium prices. That's they can sell to a different marketing that you don't need to do the business you don't feel comfortable. And in Asia, we call them multiple labels because, like I mentioned, that we have the small um, customers, we have the supermarket chain, we have the B2B business. So you don't need to cover all your customer to one customer to cover all the channels. You can find the right person. They can only do with the, for example, your customer just very good with the B2B business. You can just tell them, okay, we don't want you to sell our product in the supermarket. We just focusing on the big quantity with the B2B marketing. Just focus with that. And we can just feel comfortable sell you the raw material or big quantity, big size package. You can do very well with that. I think that will be good idea for your customer. And you need to ask them, ask your customer in Asia, what type was the business you are doing, and you don't need them to do all the business. You can tell them just like we start with the one label, one section was the business, and we can step by step, paso a paso. We don't need to rush the marketing. We can start with the small quantity to sell per year, and we just looking for long-term relationship. And for Latin Americans, sometimes we feel very rushed. The customer just want to sell you product, and the vendors in Latin America sometimes they don't care about your marketing. They just want to sell you directly. I think that sometimes they give a wrong idea for buyers because in Latin America they still have the different sizes of the providers. You don't need to do the business you are not feel comfortable. You don't feel comfortable. You don't need to give the promise you cannot not well. For example, look, you don't need to just give the wrong idea to your buyer. You are the biggest provider in Ecuador. You don't need to give them the wrong idea. You just tell them the what situation you are right now. I think that's very important. Be honest and we do the transparency clear. So about the summaries about the questions, we do about a very good. Sometimes we can have very good offer. We want to do very good potential marketing, but you want to do the succeed the business is take the very long time and the adaptations. The adaptation means you need to find how to do that. And you sometimes they take longer than you expect, but that's worth the to invest because if you figure out the culture, you figure out your customer in Asia, what they are looking for. If we understand that, for my experience, if we build a relationship with the Latin American suppliers, I think the business is longer than other vendors in Asia, and we can do the long-term relations and year by year, and we can do this like we provide a different products every year and with the long-term relationship. I think that's very important. And also how to negotiate with your buyers. I think that's based on the trust and your understanding. Your understanding, you need to understand your marketing in Asia, the regulations, the compliances, the certifications. You need to understand what their demand. It's not only ask your customer. Sometimes you need to spend your time to find the right person in local marketing. If you have the friend, if you know someone in your target marketing, you have the friend, they have experience doing a different products sell in that country. Sometimes you need to use more time to ask them what they are looking for, how we can find the regulations in that country. That's better than you just ask one person, your buyer in that country. I always tell our vendors or tell our customers, you need to understand more the marketing than your customer. You need to understand more because sometimes they give you other opportunity to introduce your product. For example, you have the experience traveling in Asia. You tell your buyer in Asia, hey, I have see that our product in Japan sell very well. They sell in the supermarket in different type. How about we start the packaging size, small packaging size in Malaysia? Sometimes you give them the different idea, they can give you more trust. You can build more long-term relationship with customer. And we always tell our vendors, our customers, only the two things is not negotiable. The two things is like the trust and the certification. That's the two part is non-negotiable because the trust is not just built like only based on the price. It's based on the person, is person to person. If you don't trust that person, they just give you the very good quantity order. You are not willing sell because you don't feel comfortable. the buyer not feel comfortable with the vendors. Even the vendor give you the very cheap prices, we don't want to buy because sometimes the cheaper price of product with different other issues. So the trust always need to thinking about is non-negotiable. And about the 5 step was the succeed. We always say that if you understand that the regulations, if we understand the certifications, you need to do that if we want to succeed. If you do very well, understand the marketing demand, the regulation in that country, sometimes you can pass everyone. You can just compare with other competitor in the local marketing because you understand very well what's their demands. And second is like how to your brand and your packaging for the local marketing. If you have the unique the brand and you have a unique products, you can sell very well because you already know that what's the customer they like. And like the how to build I mentioned that a lot was the trust. If you can build with the trust, you don't need to worry about yourself because the customer will ask you for different kind of product in the future or different the sizes of was the business that you are looking for. That's very important. And how to do the channel is you sell if you do well with the channels selection. If you select with the comfortable channels that give you very good idea in the future, and you can step by step. It's not just ruling the business at the beginning. And the 5 key is the communications. If you can continually communication with your customer in Asia, give them, for example, we have very good vendors in Ecuador. They give us the very update every weekly or monthly about the weather, about the marketing price, or about the farmers right now. Their family have some issues, so they lack of the workers in this week or this month. We need to find more person to help them. Or this year, maybe some locations they have to flow. The raining a lot, so quality maybe decrease. So maybe we purchase less than this year in this area. And if you can give them more idea about your situation in the locally, the customer will very appreciate about your information and give you more stable orders in the future. And also, I want to give some of the resources about the idea. For example, in Taiwan, we call the TFDA. So we provide vendors in different countries, in English, the versions, you can find that by yourself about a different product you want to sell. And they have the different regulations. And each countries, I think in Japan, Korea, China, Malaysia right now, a lot of country they provide the official the FDA the papers. You can just do some research directly with the government, and you can ask them to provide more information. You can do some research, and that's give you more idea. For example, heavy metal issue right now is very important. It's not only in Europe, also in Asia. And we find out, for example, Taiwan with the gamil. The gamil right now in cocoa, the cacao, the gamil is a very important. So Taiwan just changed the regulations with the label of the gamil this year. So they need to do the more testing before your shipping because maybe your customer didn't notice that they just changed this year. So when your product arrived to Taiwan custom, the Taiwan government do some testing. They figured out your label is higher than our limit. Your product your producer need to return, just reject. That's cost a lot of money and timing for both of the customer and the provider. So you need to be very careful about the regulation for each countries. If they have the change, is sometimes they just change every monthly, or you need to check, you need to find the right person in Japan, Korea, or you have a very good buyers in different countries. You need to do the more communication with them to understand more about the regulations. And failures, we call the trade show is still very very good opportunity to the beginning, to the small farmers or the exporters. You need to find the right the show, right, the failure. You need to find the right failure to attend it. If the show is suitable for you, you can find the right customer, potential customer in that show. That give you more opportunity to sell than someone never attended the failure. For example, in Taiwan, if you want to sell is for the agricultural product, food product, you need to go the full Taipei. If you want to go to Japan, you want to sell your product to Japan, I recommend you go to the food decks. That's the biggest one and the professional, the food show in Japan. If we want to sell your product to Southern East Asia, the Tyfex, they have very professional the show with the Southeast Asia every year. That's in Thailand every year. If you want to sell product to China, the sale China is the biggest one. You need to attend that, bring your product to sell. SIA is they can help you to sell your product. And other one is called Fee Asia. Fee is a very good show in Asia. They are rotating in Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines. They just do the rotate with every year different. But that's a very good opportunity to sell your potential product in Asia because, as I mentioned, that Asia, South Asia, right now the economic is booming and the populations is increased a lot. So all the food areas, all the products is all depends on the populations. So I recommend the Southeast marketing is the next decade you need to focusing on. And you can just contact with the local organizer. You can contact with them. I know Ecuador, you can contact with the Poor Ecuador. Maybe Poor Ecuador can provide some informations, or you just ask your friends in Asia where we can get more information. And sometimes they can give you more idea about attending the show or potential customer. And about the summaries, and like I mentioned, a lot was that's the need to give you the potential marketing in Asia, but sometimes you need to understand not only the trust, also the adaptations. You need to change your products for suitable for Asia. And for our experiment in Yellow Horse International, we always do with the two keys. We need to find the right person in the right country, in the right place. And no trust, we cannot start with the business. So always find the right person first. And also we need to find the product is they can suitable for marketing, understand the regulation for each marketing. If we can do the two keys with that, I think you can sell very well in Asia. And I accept that all the questions that you have, you can contact, we can have the discuss later. And Yellow Horse, we want to be is the gate to the Great China and the APAC marketing. So you can ask me or you can send me an email about any question about the Asian marketing. We are willing to help with everyone in Ecuador. Okay, again, thanks everyone attending the meeting, and gracias a todos. And I let the time to the Profesora Maya.
Mm, eh, Thanks, David. David habla español. So, podemos hacer las preguntas de Q&A en español, ¿verdad? Tenemos algunas preguntas, David, relacionado a que si tú estás ofreciendo servicios, ¿verdad? Y estás ayudando a productores a entrar a China, ¿verdad? Esa es una de las
Sí.
preguntas. Creo que entrelazado es también eh, qué tipo de productos son los más requeridos, con los que tú te estás moviendo más, que ves que tienen más potencial.
And so right now is all the Asian right now is the population is increased a lot. So all the granules is like we call like the cacao, cafe, and like the maize. The all the granules is we looking for a lot. For example, this year, the chia or different kind of arroz. I think that's a very good opportunity to sell. And right now you can focusing on the specialty marketing. For example, you can do the organic one, you can do the raw material with the certifications, you can provide the spatial varieties. I think that's a very good opportunity to Asia because when the population economy increase, the people looking for not the quantity, also the qualities. So go back to your question, I think the granos, and I think that's a very good opportunity to sell from the Latin American to Asia.
Ok, también, otra pregunta es que, ¿qué ferias, verdad, de food, trade shows puedes recomendar, verdad, en la especialidad de alcohol que tú hayas visitado, que tú pienses que ahí hay una oportunidad y que se necesita conocer?
Okay, you're asking about the liquor, see?
Sí, licor, ajá.
Liquor. I think that sometimes we combine with the liquor with the food area. So food industry, sometimes like I mentioned that this shore my presentation. I think this short you can just looking for this short is increase with the liquor. They also a lot of vendors from the different countries. They provide the liquor to this marketing, and also we have the very specialty the liquor. The short I can give you later, and I can send you in email, and I can just give you the Professora Amaya later, and she can help me to provide. And also, I want to mention that in Asia, we have the marketing, we have the population with the Islam, the Islam. The Islam marketing, like the Indonesia, Malaysia, that's the population a lot of people, a lot of populations. That's two countries I don't recommend to sell liquor into that country. So you can focusing on other country like the Vietnam or Philippines. In China, Korea right now they're looking for different sources of the liquor. Liquor is a specialty from the small wirings. Right now it just demands a lot also.
Perfecto, sí. Toda la información, David nos la va a proporcionar, ¿verdad? Y nosotros vamos a escribirles a ustedes y les vamos a llegar, les vamos a mandar la presentación que él nos envió. También les vamos a mandar el link de la grabación del día de hoy para que también ustedes puedan volver a evaluarla y considerarla, ¿no? Otra pregunta que creo que es algo crítico, no solamente para el sector, ¿verdad? Me pueden poner su nombre y su email. Los que los que ya nos ayudaron, pues perfecto, pero los que todavía no, nos pueden dejar ahí su email y su nombre para igual pasarles toda la información. Es sobre qué permisos necesita una empresa, ¿verdad? Que quisiera introducir, ¿no? Si nosotros quisiéramos importar, me preguntan específicamente por la malanga y por snacks a China. Si nosotros queremos importar a China.
See, right now, the China they do with the more investigations is called EMCC. It's like they want to you register every vendors in the other country. They need to register first in their countries, and their countries will give you the list to the China, and China will do the second investigations. So, for example, from my understanding right now, cafe, the cafe right now in
Malanga,
Ecuador.
decía malanga y los snacks, ¿no? Pero bueno,
Mhm.
podías el ejemplo de del café. Continúa, David, perdón.
Yeah. In Malanga, this part, I want to mention that, for example, right now, China is not accept all the vendors or all the countries they can sell Malanga or other product to China. You need to take a look first. For example, China is not accept with the sesame from Ecuador because no one sell sesame at China right now. So in China, they don't have the system with that one. Even you start planting the sesame in Ecuador, you are very hard to sell to China because the system, the Ecuador is not accept the country sell the sesame at China. So you need to very take care about the China regulations. Malanga right now, I think that I need to do some research that China is that accept that or not. If China accept that, you need to register first, and after that, you got the license is like the numbers. If you have that one, you can export your product from Ecuador to China.
Gracias, David. La verdad que por el honor al tiempo no tenemos mucho espacio para las preguntas, pero sí me indican que el código QR no lo pueden leer, David. Entonces, anyway, I think I sent to them your email, or maybe you can just write your email here y yo se los puedo pasar,
Absolutely.
¿no? También puedo
Absolutely.
pasar los
No
contactos.
problem.
Entonces, no tendríamos problema. Creo que el webinar ha estado súper interesante. Permíteme un ratito antes de ir cerrando, compartir una importante información con todos nuestros participantes. Eh, sí, ya creo que ya puede compartir. Parte de este webinar, señores, o sea, mucha de la información que hemos visto aquí, ustedes lo van a poder encontrar en nuestro programa internacional de dirección de agronegocios, que le llamamos PIDA, que lo estamos lanzando en una alianza estratégica con la Universidad Zamorano de Honduras, ¿no? Es un programa de dirección que está compuesta de 8 módulos. Dentro de estos módulos tenemos los módulos de finanzas, marketing. Vamos a tener en cada uno de los diferentes módulos, vamos a tener diferentes expertos que nos van a traer, así como David, que el día de hoy, muchos tips de cómo poder llegar también a estos mercados y no solamente hacer que nuestras organizaciones sean más eficientes y más sostenibles, ¿no? Porque en cada uno de los diferentes módulos vamos a obtener herramientas específicas del área de finanzas, herramientas específicas del área de emprendimiento, de business analytics, ¿verdad? Pero a la larga lo que estamos buscando es desarrollar también estas skills a nivel profesional, pero también nosotros estamos buscando traducir todo esto a ese consumidor, ¿verdad? Y ahí vale la pena recalcar esas 3 preguntas que David nos decía que reflexionemos sobre el producto que nosotros estamos comercializando, los canales que necesitamos entrar, ¿verdad? Y él también en algunas de las presentaciones nos hablaba sobre todos estos riesgos que nosotros debemos de contemplar en el momento que estamos tratando de llevar nuestros productos a todo lo que es el mercado internacional, ¿no? Entonces, sí o sí, debemos de adquirir herramientas y debemos de ir mejorando todo ese hacer que estamos realizando en nuestras organizaciones, ¿verdad? Es por eso que nosotros les hemos diseñado junto con el Zamorano este programa que tiene una duración de 4 meses. Ustedes van a vivir también una experiencia de una semana, señores, en la Universidad Zamorano, ¿verdad? Van a tener esta experiencia internacional donde van a tener la oportunidad de también encontrar expertos del calibre de David, profesores también internacionales, ¿verdad? Que van a estarnos y que van a estarlos acompañando a ustedes durante estos 4 meses, ¿no? El objetivo del programa es formar líderes capaces de transformar este sector agrícola y agroindustrial, ¿no? Combinando esta visión estratégica, como yo les decía, global, eficiente y sostenible. Son 8 módulos intensivos que valen la pena, señores, donde ustedes van a ver diferentes temáticas. La parte del entorno que decía David, él empezó el webinar diciéndonos sobre lo que Donald Trump, el presidente de Estados Unidos es un país que lidera mucho todo lo que es las temáticas de los impuestos y lo que está marcando mucho cómo también nos vamos a tener que mover y cómo vamos a tener que diseñar estas estrategias, ¿no? Entonces, el entorno económico es clave dentro de esa competitividad y dentro de las estrategias que nosotros vayamos construyendo. Veremos la parte de entorno, cadenas de suministros, la parte de emprendimiento e innovación, ¿no? ¿Cuál es ese producto y ese diferenciador que nos, valga la redundancia, nos diferencia de nuestra competencia, ¿no? Van ustedes a fortalecer esas capacidades de tomas de decisiones y sin duda lo que buscamos es ese crecimiento sostenible de sus organizaciones, ¿verdad? Entonces, son estos 8 módulos donde nosotros vamos a ver diferentes herramientas. Ustedes van a ver esa experiencia increíble también del zamorano de aprender haciendo, algo muy didáctico. De los 8 módulos, 3 módulos van a ser intensivos en esa semana en zamorano, ¿no? Entonces, vale la pena, van a estar acompañados de un networking internacional. Dentro del programa también ustedes van a tener compañeros, ¿verdad? Porque la Universidad Zamorano también está levantando o de alguna manera reclutando participantes para este programa. Entonces ustedes van a gozar de ese networking internacional de compañeros de Honduras, de República Dominicana, de Centroamérica. Estamos también reclutando participantes y nuestra audiencia también llega a Perú, a Colombia. Entonces es un networking internacional, señores, que les va a permitir a ustedes construir este capital social y estas redes que necesitamos, ¿no? Que también mencionó David. Les dejamos esta información también para que nos escriban, ¿verdad? Y que estamos a las órdenes. Igual, por favor, me siguen ayudando escribiendo sus emails, escribiendo también sus nombres para proporcionarle toda esta información, el contacto de David del LinkedIn, todo el material que él nos trajo, más la grabación, ¿sí? Les agradecemos muchísimo, señores, su participación. Y no se olviden que a lo largo de todo el programa internacional en dirección de agronegocios, ustedes van a poder gozar de expertos del calibre de David que los va a permitir conectarse con todos estos mercados internacionales. ¿Ok? Les agradezco mucho su permanencia y esto sería todo el día de hoy para todos los asistentes. Nosotros tenemos beneficios también para el programa internacional en dirección de agronegocios y los esperamos en nuestro último webinar. ¿Sí? Muchísimas gracias, David. Muchas gracias. Yo sé que en Taiwán es casi las 9:30 de la mañana, así que te agradezco el tiempo. Él está en Taiwán, así que muchísimas gracias y muchísimas gracias a todos los asistentes. El próximo webinar, Sara, nosotros le mandamos la información, pero estoy casi segura que es el 27 de julio. Ahí tenemos también al gerente de una de las unidades de Ray-Ban Pack. Así que las esperamos. Seguimos nosotros desde España aportando y construyendo para el sector agroindustrial con todos nuestros espacios.
Muchas
Gracias a
gracias.
ustedes. Muchísimas
Muchas
gracias,
gracias,
David.
profesora Amaya. Es un placer conocer ustedes.
No, un placer. Igual yo te tengo unas fotitos. Te las iba a pasar.
Sí,
Ya,
gracias.
muchísimas gracias a todos.
Chao.
Buenas noches, señores. Gracias. Igual síganme dejando sus emails y sus contactos, sus nombres para pasarles toda la información. Muchas gracias. Gracias, David. Muy buenas noches.
Buenas noches y chao, chao.
Chao, chao.
Gracias, chao, chao.